And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another video game review, and today I am reviewing Super Mario 3D World, released I think in 2013 originally, might have been 2014, I don't know, on the Wii U, and then was later re-released on the Nintendo Switch alongside a side game, Bowser's Fury, combined with it, which was also incredibly popular. Now, a lot of YouTubers, what they do is they review the 3D World Bowser's Fury cartridge together. I'm not going to do that. I'll explain any more when I actually do the review of Bowser's Fury, which I'll have try to come up right after this one, kind of like a back-to-back thing. We'll see, though. But you'll see why. They're going to be separate. And, I did the big Mario games review, and this game, had I played it by that point, would have been in it, but it was not, so, oh well. But I definitely did get a lot out of the game that I think allows it to be its own review. So, this is a pretty polarizing, but still very well-known and popular Mario game for most people. So let's jump right down to it, shall we? As always, thank you to the one and only Ann Pomeroy for letting me borrow this game and giving me the chance to play it as well. So let's jump right into it, shall we? First off is 3D World. I have played 3D Land, and I was very, very worrisome that they were going to be too similar for me to really do a review of either. I thought there were enough differences, though. The 3D is still done just okay in this game. It definitely looks really good, and it wasn't like terrible, but as it comes with 3D games, especially with Mario games, there's probably going to be a problem with depth perception and a lot of those other stuff that I've already explained in my reviews of like Mario 64 and even like Sunshine, and even like Odyssey and Galaxy and all that stuff too. It's just kind of something you have to expect. And it can definitely get a little chaotic sometimes with a lot going on and figuring out what you actually can hit and what you can't and how you can hit them. It can definitely get a little confusing at some parts of the game. But overall, I thought it was done pretty well. One of the big things added to this game was a cat. And for some reason, the icon is a bell. I guess I kind of get it, being a cat owner. Like, they like to hit the bell and rings the bell. I don't know. It just seems like a weird choice to spawn that. Bell doesn't, I guess in this game, equals cat. It really doesn't make much sense. But you know what? Still fine, I guess. And also another thing I really like is when you're going in between levels and you can stray off the path and there's actually things to see and do. There's item blocks to hit. There's that really fun gambling machine, like the slot machine that you can play. It pops up in every world. I think I really enjoy that. The Toad House is always, they're there too. Just a few other things that are to explore, and I really like that. It adds extra playability onto the game, and I really like when they add stuff like that to the game. I think it's really, really cool. Now, this game's not part of... Okay, we'll get to that a little bit later. I thought the clear pipes were very fun, too. I'd used them before in, like, Mario Maker. Actually, I don't know. Are they Mario Maker? Maybe I'm not thinking of Mario Maker. I've used them before. And they were cool. I like them. It's really cool to see, like, then you snake through the pipes and stuff like that. And to move in between areas. And it's very, very effortless, but still very satisfying to watch. And I really like that. So, plus, overall, I just really think that there's a lot of newly introduced designs and concepts. I know that they also brought a lot over from past Mario games, such as the shoe power-up that became an ice skate power-up, that you can, like, drive an ice skate. I think that's done okay. Some of the stuff's done not the greatest, but some's really incorporated pretty well. But I think they did a really good job at taking the effort to... one, bring it back, but make it new, make it fresh, make things, still new stuff to really wonder. It's not just the same stuff that you played in like Mario 3 back in like the 90s, or Mario World or anything like that. It's still the same thing, but it's new, and you incorporate it into a new style of gameplay, and I think they did that really well for the most part. Like I said, a couple of them don't work as great as maybe I would think Nintendo would hope, but overall, I think they should be pretty happy about that, and I enjoyed it too. So. Another thing I really liked is the music. The music is awesome. The soundtrack for this game is great. And that's really something that I can say for most Mario games. Let's be honest here. The soundtrack is just incredible. I really, really liked it. And it was just a banger to listen to all the way throughout. And that just makes it makes playing the game a lot more fun when you have good music to listen to. Because bad music can make it a little more stressful and not as fun of an environment. But good music can improve maybe some of the more stressful pieces of the game, and can make it easier, to make it more fun to play through. There's a couple things that I don't like. Now, one thing that a lot of people really I've heard complain about this game, which is something I can't really attest to, is the very chaotic multiplayer in the game. Speaking of the multiplayer, I do like that you can play Mario and Luigi, you can play as the Blue Toad, or you can play as Peach. I always think it's really cool when you can play as Peach, because for the longest time, Peach was just like the character you were trying to rescue, and now being able to play as Peach more and more, 3D World, or they've got a new Peach game coming out, which actually at the time this is going up might already be out, and Smash Bros. And all this other stuff. I think it's awesome that they're incorporating Peach as more playable of a character. And in Mario Wonder as well, they did that. So I think it's really, really cool. And then that's awesome too. But again, I didn't play a multiplayer at all when playing 3D World. I've played multiplayer in it before, but it's been a while, so I can't really remember a lot about it. I've heard, though, that it's very chaotic, and I can see why it's chaotic. Some of the areas in the levels, there's some areas in levels where it's just very, very tight moving spaces, and with the 3D not being 100% great, it can definitely get a little chaotic. It can do a little annoying, and it can take away from some of the more fun aspects of the gameplay. And stuff like that. And that's mostly because they did a really good job at designing levels. I should say that. The level design in this game is awesome. Really, really like it. Really, really good. Very, very, very new, cool concepts that they were bringing to the table here as well. They're not all perfect, though. And it can definitely be exacerbated with multiplayer mode. So, but a couple other things. The mid boss battles, the boss battles in general, actually, mostly the mid boss battles, but the boss battles really in general are some of the easiest boss fights I've ever experienced in a game. They're not necessarily, Mario boss fights are not necessarily always intended to be super difficult, but this game definitely had some pretty far from difficult to pretty easy, in fact. And again, not a terrible thing, but really, like, you couldn't have done a little bit better. Let's be honest here. But I don't mind that. Easiness in a game is not usually a bad thing. For some people who like more of a challenge, sure, it's not for you. But they like to be catering to all ages, so I can see why they did this. So, a couple other things. I got some major PTSD flashbacks from this game, because there's a star requirement. I don't like that. It reminds me of Captain Toad, and I just don't like being reminded of that game at all. The stars aren't hard to get, so it's not really hard to meet the star requirement. However, it's just annoying that it's there. It just feels like a chore, a nuisance, instead of something to be more incentivized. It just doesn't feel natural when it's being a requirement. You're being forced to do it, and I just don't like that, But thankfully, it's not super hard to get all the stars. Just got to really work through them in each of the level. Get as many as you can, and you'll be fine. And then speaking of Captain Toad flashbacks, there's Captain Toad levels in this game. Why? That's another thing you can explore when you're going around to other levels and stuff like that. I know this game was kind of like a precursor to Captain Toad. It was kind of like introducing it, and then after this, like the people really liked it. I don't know how people could really like that. They made it into a full-fledged game. So I get why it's there, but holy crap, why? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I got a couple PTSD flashbacks from this game, which is why I can't give it a full great score like many other people do. But overall, though, my final thoughts: I did think this was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. Just it's not like the greatest Mario game I've ever played. As far as 3D Mario games, it's probably third on my list out of 5 that I've played now. Well, I guess if you count 3D Land, that'd be 6, but it would still be third in my opinion. I think Galaxy and Odyssey are both better. And I've yet to play Galaxy 2. That's also on my list to play, so it might go down a notch there, another notch there as well. But we'll see. But overall, for my final score for Super Mario 3D World, I'm probably going to have to give this one a good 8 out of 10. It's still a really fun game. Lots of cool designs and concepts and stuff that they made and did, and I really, really, really like that. Not all people have really the same thoughts as me, but overall, really fun game. And would highly recommend playing it if you get the opportunity to. So that's going to do it for this game review, though. If you've ever played 3D World, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And that's going to do it for this video, so stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more game reviews and other awesome stuff. Till next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.